Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MTGOTraders. My name is Taryn, and this is the Upkeep for December 15th, 2017. Alright, it's getting close to Christmas and the holidays season in general, so this week and most likely next week we'll have much less information just due to the time of year. However, that's not to say we do not have stuff to talk about. Let's get right into the top stories this week. But of course, before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps keeps these lights on, keeps the channel growing, and keeps these videos rolling. Alright, pitch out of the way, time for the top stories. This week, Rivals of Ixalan promos, packaging, and much more was dropped. While preview season doesn't officially start until January 1st, we still get to see some awesome art, packed art, and even some promos that are going to be given away during the open house, league participation, and via box. The biggest one here being the open house being Silver Gill Adept, which is straight up a modern merfolk card. It's beautiful, man. Evolving Wilds is your league card, and the buy box is Captain's Hook, which is sure to be in anyone's commander pirate deck. Honestly, the only one here that has standard and modern viability is the Adept. So if you have a friend wanting to get into Magic, take them to that open house and get yourself a sweet promo. Also, the draft weekend is giving us the promo Brass's Bounty, but again, it's a card that doesn't look like it'll see much play, but we'll see. If Sunbird's Invocation can see play, Brass's Bounty may see something. Also, Friday Night Magic's tokens were shown off today, and whoo doggy do they look prettyful. Their Merfolk and City's Blessing tokens look great. They're also double-sided, which is great too. I honestly appreciate that they're not ads on the other side, and there is an actual token on the other side as well. That's great. We also saw Planeswalker decks and cards, but we've already covered that on the channel already, and I'll link that video at the end of this video. All I can tell you now is that I want an Angrath Planeswalker in the main set. Pretty please. Also, is it just me, or has the Vraska's art direction been kind of like all over the place? The Planeswalker art on this particular card is great, but her box art right beside her doesn't even look like the same character. Just so confusing by all the weird tinting of her skin and stuff. I don't know, it's just bugging me. Anyway, Rivals of Ixalan Open House is January 6th through the 7th. Pre-release weekend is January 13th through the 14th, and Magic Online's launch is January 15th, one day before my birthday. Nice. The full set releases in paper on January 19th, and draft weekend kicks off January 20th through the 21st. Do keep in mind though that even though the drafts are online on January 15th for Magic Online, the full packs do not go live until January 19th. So if you're looking for a card in a place like MTGOTraders doesn't have it between those dates, it's likely because it wasn't sold to us just yet. There are a lot of other dates as well, but I won't bore you with that. Check the link in the description. Either way, I'm excited for Rivals, and I truly hope it brings more to the table than Ixalan brought. Ixalan barely shook up the foundation of standard energy dominance, and I hope Rivals just washes the energy away with a swift tsunami. Honestly, I just want Merfolk to be kicking butt, and that's all I can hope for. Moving on to our next story. The top 25 ranking in the Pro players has been updated. While I'm a big fan of the Pro Tour and watching these guys duke it out on my weekends, I've never actually seen a list of their rankings. I won't go over the full list here, but it makes me smile knowing that Owen Turtwald is number 8 and not number 1. If you're not familiar with Owen, he's very vocal about how good he is, and it's just cute to see him not even break top 5. All love your way, Owen, I'm just pushing your buttons. But seeing Seth Manfield at the number 1 slot is awesome, followed swiftly by Reed Duke and Paulo Vitor Damarosa. The thing I'm looking forward to in the future is to see more countries represented on this list. Out of the top 25, 13 were American, and while we do have a lot of players in America, there are always European and Asian countries looking to step right in. Let's hope 2018 shakes this list up. I cannot wait. Every player in the top 25 are ridiculously good at Magic the Gathering, but it's always awesome to see that even within the pros, there is a group that stands above the rest. Again, the list is super interesting to look over, and I do encourage you to check into it if you're into that sort of thing. And our last story for the news day is about Unstable. Last week, Unstable released, and something weird kind of happened. All across the country, we kept hearing those whispers of God boxes and pallets. Then Rudy from Mouthful Investments put out a video talking about it and encouraging players to, if they opened a few packs with foil lands, to stop, get out a phone, and start recording it to prove that it was real. So after a few days of silence, we finally have our proof. They are real! User Mark Gordon over on YouTube posted a 16-minute video not only showing 1, but 2 God boxes. It's kind of unbelievable, and totally confirms everyone's suspicion about the product. Now, whether or not this is something that will impact the price of Unstable is completely unclear yet. I mean, it's clear it's going to impact it, obviously. But also maybe that if Unstable gets a reprint, I'm sure we probably won't see the God boxes in the second run, just like the Antiquities in Zendikar or God packs in Journey into Nyx. It'll be a one-run thing, but boy isn't that exciting. Let's just hope the full art lands drop in value after a few weeks. Wanting to get a few of them myself. Full link of the video is in the description here if you're interested and seeing the full thing. It's great, I promise. Alright, news stories over, let's move on to the standard meta breakdown. If you're not familiar with this yet, I go to MTG Goldfish and we look at the exact breakdown of the standard format. Alright, let's go. Starting at number 10, we've got a new challenger back once again. Mono Black Aggro is showing its face, breaking into the top 10 once again, and it's no surprise. I feel that it's a strong contender against a lot of the best decks in the format at the moment. I just wish we had some more valuable instances in the 3 mana slot. Or even in the 2 mana slot. A Doomblade reprint may actually be what we need, honestly. Marty Vehicles moves up 1 slot to number 8, and again, Marty Vehicles is great, it's fast, but I doubt we'll we'll see much tech from it in Rivals, so I would hold off on building this deck in the near future. Blue-White Control follows Mardu Vehicles at number 8, dropping 2 slots. It seems the meta is once again shifting towards a more early to mid-game strategy. No room for full-on control when you have hasty creatures beating down your door. Speaking of slow decks, Blue-White Cycling moves up 1 slot to number 7. We ran Cycling on the stream just a few days ago, and while it's a super fun deck, it does almost do nothing for the first 5 turns. Can't really do that in this particular format without dying quickly. And rounding out the bottom 5 is Sultai Pummeler, slightly moving back up from slot 7 to 6 this week. Energy decks eat up most of the top 5, and while I'm no fan of it, Pummeler is probably my favorite energy variant. Alright, top 5. 4-color energy is number 5 with 5.76% of the meta. While that's something, Sultai Energy nearly doubles those numbers at number 4 with 8.64% of the meta. Scarab God shows up in all of these lists, by the way. It's a real force to be reckoned with. Blue-White Godfarer's Gift breaks up the tension in the energy with 9.69% of the meta, and I'm glad to see it holding strong at the number 3 slot. Though if we get any more relevant artifact hate in Rivals, you better believe Blue-White Gift is out of here. Moving up, Ramen Up Red is crowning the number 2 slot once again. I kept seeing this bounce between this and number 1 several times this week, but it's seemingly resting on the number 2 slot long enough for me to call it. With 20.16% of the ranking, Rami Red will be a force until rotation. And of course, with 23.04% of the meta, Teamer Energy is here, and I'm so sad to see it. If the energy deck does start creeping over the 30% marker in the meta, I'd say that's probably time to start banning some cards, but we'll see. Tournament results are saying right now that its usage has more or less balanced out, but again, nothing will truly change until Rivals releases. And if Attune with Aether isn't banned by Rivals Pro Tour, then the energy deck is here to stay. And that is the top 10 meta breakdown. Keep in mind this list in a month will hopefully be vastly different. I can't wait to see what happens, honestly, and I bet you can't wait either. Alright, let's move on to our community spotlight for the day. This is the section of the video where we shout out local game stores that you, the viewer, submit either on the Facebook group in the link below or in the comments below. We like shouting them out because we want to make sure everyone in that area knows that they exist, they're awesome, and it helps give everyone a nice pat on the back. You guys are doing alright. Let's keep local game stores alive and kicking. Today's entry is from the awesome Joey Figley, I hope that's pronounced correctly, from the Facebook group. She chose her local game store at the Adventurers Guild in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She writes, quote, "The guild has pretty much anything anyone could be looking for in tabletop gaming, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and great MTG community. I have been a patron of the store for about 15 years and always felt welcome. So thank you, AG, for being a pillar of the local game store community in Harrisburg. And thank you, Joey, for submitting them. Their store looks great, and I bet the community is even better." But that about does it for today's Upkeep. As always, these videos are sponsored by MTGOTraders, your #1 source for Magic Singles and Magic Online, and Cape Fear Games, where you can order paper Magic and even trade in paper cards for MTGOTraders store credit, 20% more than cash. That is a fantastic deal, by the way. And that's when you consider that MTGO is cheaper than paper on average. But of course, before I go, guys, I have a question. Have any of you pulled a God Box yet? Or know anyone who did? Do you think God Boxes should be a thing in every set? I would have loved foil full art lands in every set, honestly. Stop keeping it just for Zendikar and unsets, please. Alright guys, I'm out. Like, subscribe, and enjoy your weekend. See you all next week. Peace.